I can taste everything from the chili flakes, which is a little bit, the sausage, of course. That fresh cinnamon is so unbelievable. Even the ricotta cheese mixed in with the sausage, all of the flavors are coming together, the layer of flavors. You know what I'm talking about, people. All right, welcome back. Another great video for you today. One of my favorites. And we're kind of in the soup season, and as you know, if you've been watching the channel, you know I'm always about simplicity and layers of flavor. Today we're going to be doing tortellini and sausage cream soup, or a creamy tortellini and sausage soup. And today, what I'm using, basically, the tortellini is just store-bought tortellini, of course, you know, homemade. Okay, a whole nother video, homemade. So we'll just get store-bought, and these are just 4 cheese. So you can get, you know, there's sausage stuffed tortellini, there's chicken stuffed tortellini, there's all kinds out there today. But for this recipe, we're using basically 4 cheese stuffed tortellini. And then we've got our basic starter ingredients, which are carrots, onions, and celery, which is also known as a mirepoix. And then, of course, for the sausage, I'm going to be using just some basic, this is the store brand, but like, you know, Jimmy Dean or whatever you wanted to use. I'm using mild today. If you want a little bit of bite to it, add a little spice to it. To get spicy sauce, that's perfectly up to you. But I'm using mild because I think it just goes, it's just easier to regulate all the other flavors so it doesn't overpower. Sometimes you don't know exactly how much spice is in the sausage. And so when you end up tasting the soup at the end, you're like, oh my goodness, this is too much for me. So I always add just regular plain sausage, mild. And then if I want a little bite to it, I can add some red chili flake. In fact, we are going to add just a tad bit today of some red chili flake. So, but let's get started. What I first want to do is I want to get this sausage browned up in here. Okay. And we're going to do this before we do anything else. And the reason for this is I'm basically, if I can use this, if this makes any sense to you, we're kind of seasoning the pot here, okay? Because all the flavor of the pork here and the sausage and the oil and the fat that's gonna come out of it is kind of giving this pot, it's kind of a bottom flavor of the first layer of flavor, right? And so we're gonna just get this all browned up. We could go ahead and add, you know, all of our vegetables in with this sausage right here. You could do a lot of things, but I think it's so important, as I've talked to you more about before, not just about layering of flavors, but also about 3 T's, right? The foundations of cooking: time, temperature, and technique. Okay, so in this particular recipe right now, we're talking about technique. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to get all the fat to come down. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you. This is a little side step that we're going to take. A little, you know, something a little extra you have to do. But trust me, when you do this, you're going to see what makes different soups appear in some kind of down here. You know, you go to restaurants, like, oh, they make the most amazing soup. But I tried it in home and it wasn't as good. Well, it's because you didn't take that extra little step, a little technique that I'm going to show you in a minute after this is all brown. So come on in here, and you can see the fat is starting to release itself. All right, almost there. Now let this go. We get this completely brown all the way down. We're coating the bottom of this beautiful cast iron pot, and it's catching all of that beautiful fat flavor, which is exactly what we want. All right, so stay right there. We'll be right back. We'll get to the next step, and I'll show you exactly what we're going to do. Be right back. Perfect. Come on in here. You can see here now we've got all of our sausage nice and brown, and you can see we've got a little bit of the fat. This is what I'm talking about with a cast iron especially, but any pot will work. What we've done is we've rendered that fat, and this is a little step that I would tell you is what makes this soup and most soups just another level, all right? And what we're gonna do now is, this is what I'm talking about. It's a little bit of a pain, but it's so worth it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and we're gonna drain out this sausage like that. And then now we will take this, drain it, and I want to take this fat, like so, put it there, add a little bit of more extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil into that sausage fat. And see, what we have here now is we've got one layer of flavor in this pot. Now that alone is going to just create something special. If we just added the vegetables, the carrots, celery, and onion in with the sausage, it would not have given this extra flavor. So now we've got one layer, and now we're going to the next layer. So let's go ahead and get this back on. We're gonna add our carrots, our onion, and our celery. We're gonna add a little bit of garlic, equivalent of about 2 cloves, about a teaspoon. We will add a little bit of chili flake, optional. And at this point now, we're gonna add some salt and pepper. Like these vegetables are going, we're gonna take about 3 tablespoons of ricotta cheese. This is a pro tip like no other for this soup. Just like so. And we're gonna mix this in. Just like that. Now, I also want to add a little bit of kosher salt and a little black pepper. And now, this is the perfect time to just let this sit. We want this combination to become one as well, to develop its own little layer of flavor. So we let this sit and kind of rest and do its thing, and we come back to our veggies. Look at them. See the water's coming out? That's exactly what we want. Oh, that's looking good. It's looking so good. All right, let these go for a little bit more. We're gonna let these become translucent, okay? Clear, let the water come out, just like we're doing here. When we come back, we'll add our sausage and ricotta cheese mixture back into this. Then we'll slowly start adding our pasta. We'll add our stock. Then we'll add a little bit of heavy cream. We'll finish up this soup, and it is unbelievable. And I do have one special little ingredient that we're gonna add. Do not want to miss this. It's really going to take this soup to another level. Stay right there. Be right back. All right, come on in. Look at this. Veggies are nice and soft and translucent, just where we want them to be. But at this point, we're going to add in our sausage and ricotta. I'm going to tell you, this little pro tip right here, this one alone will have you cooking like a rock star. Right. So we've got another layer of flavor going on here. And again, bringing everything together as one. Perfecto. Look at that. Oh, it looks so good. Now, let's go ahead and add in our tortellini. And get this all incorporated. Tell me this does not look amazing. Look at this. And again, time, temperature, and technique. Now, let's go ahead and add our chicken broth or chicken stock. We're probably gonna add about 3 cups, enough to just cover the top of the ingredients is the goal. Now before we add the cream to make this a cream soup, we want this tortellini to, again, welcome itself to the party, release its flavor profile into the rest. At this point, I also always like to give my broth a taste because I want to see where we are now that we've added all these layers of flavor. So important, okay? Oh wow. Oh wow. That's really good. That is really good. Okay, so we're gonna let this go for 5 to 10 minutes. We want that tortellini to really start to release. We want the cheese inside that tortellini to start to melt down and everything come together. When we come back, we'll finish it off with our cream. I have that one secret little ingredient I want to talk to you about when we get back. A little history too. You don't want to miss it. Stay right there. Come on in here. Look at this. You can see what you know your tortellini is right where you want it to be. You see how it expanded? Remember how small they were? I should have taken one out before I put it in so you can see the difference in size. But the tortellini expanded, and that's what we want, right? That's when you know and when it expands, it opens up the shell, which what happens? All of the broth gets put into that shell. The cheese gets soaked in with that shell. Some of that sausage gets put in there. I mean, this is what it's all about, right? That's why time is so important, along with temperature and technique. Now, heavy whipping cream. Probably gonna add about, we got about a cup, okay? Now, anytime we're gonna add more liquid, especially dairy, first thing we want to do, we're going to want to, again, taste. We want to see where our flavor profile is. That just gets better and better and better. Wow, that is fantastic. All right. So, before we go to the thickening part, I'm going to add just a little bit more cream. So we're going to go 1.5 cups. Okay. And before we go to the thickening part, a little history lesson. You know, I talk to you a lot about spices and seasonings, and today we'll be using cinnamon. Now, here's the interesting thing about it. Now, this would be considered an Italian soup, right? Well, history lesson. Okay, so Christopher Columbus, all right, he went on this traveling excursion. He actually left Spain and he went to try to go to Asia, because in Asia they were making incredible spices, but they were so expensive because of the travel time it took. So the currency was there, and he knew that if I could get those spices back over into Spain and parts of Europe, then I can make a fortune, right? So he set out to sail, and of course, it didn't happen. He got lost, and he landed in the Americas. Then what happened is that it wasn't all lost, because then it became the American exchange, which basically the Native Americans were already using such great savory products like cinnamon, nutmeg, chilies, okay? And so he grabbed all of those and brought those back to Spain, and then they got incorporated in parts of Europe. And what ended up happening is the whole culinary field changed, because we started adding all of these beautiful spices, these savory spices, into great dishes like this soup, which took the whole soup to another level. So, I mean, the culinary history is so unbelievable, but believe me, think about this. Christopher Columbus did not put on his ship a little jar that has McCormick on it that said ground cinnamon. No, he went and he brought back probably sheets sheets, right, of this bark, right? That's how it was, and that's what you should buy, because if you buy like whole cinnamon, this will last you forever and ever and ever. I mean, at least literally lifetime, right? So they come like this. It's a stick, and what we'll do is we are going to, this is the little trick I've been telling you to wait for. We're gonna shave off some into here, and it just smells amazing. Look at that. And if you don't know, and when it's fresh like this, it just has so much more punch. And if you don't know, sausage and nutmeg and sausage and cinnamon and sausage, it just, there's something about it that just works, right? I mean, it just really works. So we'll add that in there, and that's my little secret today. And I talk a lot about spices, you know. You can learn all about spices and the fundamentals of cooking, okay? All the techniques, the time, the temperatures, what pots and pans to buy. I always call that making a commitment to your equipment. You can learn all of that in my ebook, okay? It's not a cookbook, but it will teach you the basic foundations of cooking that will elevate your kitchen confidence tenfold, okay? At minimum, all right? So if you want, grab yourself a copy. There's a link in the description box below. All right, let's get to the thickening. This is gonna be, you can just see, we don't really need to have any real, I don't think we're gonna have to thicken this at all. If you wanted to, you could have added some cornstarch to this, but the starch of the pasta and the heavy cream has reduced by itself, is creating exactly what we want. Which is perfect. In fact, we're gonna add another 1/4 cup of heavy cream. Just like that. And then at the very end, a nice big hunk of fresh basil. So important. And you know, I'm adding this at the end because we want to preserve the integrity of that fresh basil. You don't want all the perfume to cook out. And this is, the heat is off completely. And so now this is all incorporated in. When we come back, we are going to bowl this up. We're going to add a little bit of beautiful Parmigiano Reggiano on top. We're gonna have a taste. It's gonna be delicious. Stay right there and be right back. Come on in here. Look at this final product. Oh my goodness. Does that look amazing or what? Just take it to our bowl. Then we take some fresh basil, top like that, Parmigiano Reggiano, like I mentioned. I want to get a nice fresh cheese on there. Ooh. And now, the moment of truth. I can taste everything from the chili flakes, which is a little bit, the sausage, of course, That fresh cinnamon is so unbelievable. Even the ricotta cheese mixed in with the sausage, all of the flavors are coming together, the layer of flavors. You know what I'm talking about, people. I can't wait till you try this for yourself. I am Chef Brian. Thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you next time. And until then, remember, eat well and stay healthy.